Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, served by Applebee's.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry. We have not been Kingsburied yet, and we are all wearing pants.
I asked, and they refused to Kingsbury me, and maybe that should have been the thing. If I don't wear the pants, maybe security will come and escort me out. Every day there's a new learning lesson for me in terms of, but you know what? Stupidly, I wore pants, and here I am, fulfilling my contract.
And you are Matthew Berry, and this is Lawrence Jackson, the only Jackson playing this weekend, it looks like, and I am Jay Croucher.
That was well done.
Yeah, you like that?
Listen, I did.
All right. Do you want me to set you up on Scott Turner? Just get straight into it. You just want to talk about Scott Turner?
Yeah, we can get right into it. The Rotoworld Headlines. Yeah. So a lot of offense coordinators fired this week. A lot of line coaches. A lot of people. A lot of scapegoats.
Yeah.
A lot of scapegoats.
Definitely that.
So which camera am I? Am I on camera one? Am I on camera one to address? Thank you very much. Okay, camera one. So the Washington Commanders fired offense coordinator Scott Turner earlier this week. And I have just one simple question. The f***? Seriously. Is it Scott Turner? Like, how many coaches need to be fired with Carson Wentz as their quarterback? A lot of people, the offense, wasn't number one in this and wasn't number one in that. You know what the Commanders were number one in? Lawsuits and investigations. Every single day there's something on the outside affecting this offense, and yet Scott Turner somehow is trying to coach. Oh, and it's not just the ownership. It's not just what's going on outside and previous regimes. He's got to deal with his head coach, Ron Rivera, saying, "Oh yeah, what's the issue? The quarterback." And then the very next day he's got to be like, "Look, Ron Rivera's like, no, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that looked at the analytics. I'm the guy that looked at the tape and made the decision to bring Carson Wentz here." Remember the day after when Rivera was backpedaling? He's the one who's just like, yeah, Carson Wentz is me. Okay, Rivera, yeah, you're the one who brought in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, you paid $28 million to go 2-6 with Carson Wentz. 2-6 was Carson Wentz's record, and one of those 2 wins was against the Bears, the team currently with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Nice job. Nice job there. I'm going to tell you this. Scott Turner, despite the fact having no offensive line, brutal offensive line, wasn't Scott Turner's fault that they let Brandon Sheriff go to the Jaguars. Wasn't Scott Turner's fault that they traded Trent Williams for a 3rd and a 5th to the Niners because that's all they could get for it because the previous general manager, Bruce Allen, the worst general manager in professional sports history, was enabled by Dan Snyder. Why? I don't know. Maybe Bruce Allen had some stuff on him. Who knows? All I know is this, is that you've got arguably the greatest left tackle in NFL history, played for the Niners and maybe goes to a Super Bowl, but not in the Commanders, because that's how badly they screwed up their relationship with Trent Williams. So it's not his fault, not Scott Turner's fault that you gave him a patchwork offensive line that led the NFL in sacks this year. No team in third most sacks. They give up the 3rd most sacks during Scott Turner's tenure. Only 2 teams in the NFL gave up more sacks during Scott Turner's tenure. Is that his fault? Is that his fault that he doesn't have a quarterback that knows when to get rid of the ball quickly? Should he be calling plays where it's just like, hey, here's a play, don't get sacked? How's Scott Turner supposed to handle that when he doesn't have anyone that can block for him? I will tell you this is what he did, though. Here's what Scott Turner did do. He's like, you know what? I don't have a lot to work with here, so let's try to run the ball effectively. I bet people don't realize this. No team in the NFL had a better time of possession this year than the Washington Commanders. This year, under Scott Turner, they ranked 1st in total time of possession. They were top 12 in rushing yards, despite that crappy offensive line. In fact, starting in week 5, once they got Brian Robinson back, they were 8th. They were top 8 in rushing yards once Brian Robinson made his debut from week 5 on. Okay? Here's a list of the quarterbacks that you guys gave Scott Turner to work with. Alex Smith on one leg. Dwayne Haskins, R.I.P. Kyle Allen. Ryan Fitzpatrick for half a game. Garrett Gilbert, 2 weeks off of a couch.
He was good, Gilbert.
Carson Wentz. Sam Howell, who's 1-0, by the way, against the Cowboys. Sam Howell, and, of course, Taylor Heineke. People point to Taylor Heineke, and they say, like, look at Taylor Heineke. He finished 19th in QBR this year. He was barely a top 20 quarterback. Are you kidding me? That's an unbelievable accomplishment. prior to coming to the Commanders, Taylor Heineke couldn't get a snap in the XFL. That is true. He was on the St. Louis Battlehawks in the XFL, but never played a snap. He literally could not get on the field to the XFL. He had no future in football, and that's what you gave Scott Turner. And the fact that he did anything with Taylor Heineke. Look, we all like Taylor Heineke, like he's gutty, he's a gunslinger. Taylor Heineke does not have an arm, okay? Taylor Heineke is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He is at best a mid-level backup. Nice player, we like Taylor Heineke, we're rooting for him, but let's be real. From a talent standpoint, he is at best a mid-level backup, and yet, over the last 2 seasons, he had to start 24 games. And by the way, he was a better option for the Commanders this year than Carson Wentz, chosen by Ron Rivera. Carson Wentz. How many coaches got Carson Wentz going to get fired? Look, Scott Turner developed Logan Thomas. He made Logan Thomas a thing. He developed Jahan Dotson. He developed Brian Robinson. Why does he get no credit for any of those guys? Like, Jahan Dotson missed 5 games this year. Curtis Samuel missed 12 games last year. Logan Thomas missed 14 games each of the last 2 years. Like, he's working with a patchwork offensive line. He's got different guys in and out. And yet, the Commanders have been competitive in every single game. That game plan against the Eagles when they went to Philadelphia, the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, and they dominated time possession and they beat the Eagles, the game plan in that game was a masterclass in play calling. Masterclass. They had no business beating the Eagles that week, and they did. I'm not sitting here saying Scott Turner is the greatest offense coordinator of all time, but what I'm telling you here is that there's a massive amount of problems with the Washington Commanders, and Scott Turner is really low on the list of stuff wrong with the Commanders, and yet they're throwing him under the bus because everyone else is screwing up and didn't do their jobs. And that pisses me off. Because actually, like, again, if you said to me, hey, Matthew, fix the Commanders, it's a long time before I get to the offense coordinator. It's a long time. Give this guy a quarterback.
Yep.
And then make a decision. Ron Rivera, like, when was the last time Ron Rivera had a winning season? I'm asking. In all seriousness, when was the Blake, get in my ear and tell me the last time Ron Rivera had a winning season.
When they won the division, was that 8-8?
No, they were. I think they were 7-9.
You got to remember, Ron Rivera forgot that they had even missed the playoffs a couple weeks ago. He didn't even know, right? He didn't even know, right?
Right.
2017. There you go.
2017.
I've got bad
is the
news.
last time Ron Rivera actually had a winning record. But yeah, sure. Let's fire Scott Turner.
Yep. Well, I've got bad news, Matthew. After you swore, they cut us off the air, so you're going to have to do all that again. But,
I don't care.
All right, now, Lawrence, your turn to do the same speech
right.
to camera 3 about Mike LaFleur.
Right. I'm right. I'm right on that. Justice for Scott Turner.
All right, justice for Scott Turner. Let's talk about Mike LaFleur, who's out as Jets offensive coordinator. Lawrence, what do you think of this move?
Yeah, you know, I don't got no emotional ties to the New York Jets like our friend Matthew does here.
So you're going to give a speech
to the Commanders, but I feel the same way. Somebody had to be a scapegoat in this situation. Something that Mike LaFleur did do well. He made sure that his best players got the ball in their hands. When Breece Hall was healthy, that's who the offense focused around. When he went out, unfortunately, that shifted to Garrett Wilson. He also thrived. So the offense had some success. And again, what are you working with here at quarterback? You got Mike White, just like Taylor Heineke.
Right.
We like him, but he like Taylor Heineke, a mid-level backup. You got your number 2 overall pick. He ain't playing worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you down to Joe Flacco. Like, you would rather had played Joe Flacco in the last game to knock the Dolphins out the playoffs, right, than play your healthy number 2 overall pick. But then again, somebody gotta take the hit. They also fired their quarterback coach and the offensive line coach too. So everybody get hit, it seems, except the people who supposed to get it.
Yep, I'm with you there, Lawrence. This was the most uncomfortable game of the season to watch, I think. Just watching Zach Wilson implode on Thursday Night Football against the Jags. This is the last time he saw the field this season.
On a short week, in the rain, like, there's so much pressure. He'll do better in a new situation, new coach, new city. New York media has claimed another one. Look, I'm not saying he's faultless, but, like, there's a reason why he was the number 2 overall. When he was picked number 2 overall, it wasn't like everyone was like, what? Him? Are you crazy? He was highly thought of by the entire NFL scouting community. So we have higher hopes. I mean, listen, nowhere to go but up for Zach Wilson. But you're right.
Is Zach Wilson definitely gone though?
I don't know how he returns to New York.
I don't know. He says
They be talking like they like, hey, we committed to him. That's what he. But
they're just saying that to get some trade,
maybe.
Try to listen.
Look, it's not been good for Zach Wilson.
It has not been good for Zach Wilson. He seems to have sort of regressed, over the last year, and sometimes, by the way, sometimes there's just a better fit with an offensive coordinator and play call. Like whatever. Zach Wilson has not been good. Like there's no way to sort of couch that.
Yeah. He has not been good. And look, I think the Jets' offense, the context will be better next season when they get Breece Hall back. You get Mekhi Becton, AVT. They're going to have weapons. Maybe they bring in another wide receiver to complement Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. They probably bring in another quarterback.
But coordinators just, again, being made to
be
scapegoats. Mike LaFleur didn't draft Zach Wilson.
No, and he didn't get the yips either.
1,000%. Scott Turner not only didn't draft or didn't sign Carson Wentz, it wasn't his decision to start Carson Wentz against the Browns, which, by the way, that's a game they should have won, and that's a game that cost them the playoffs. I mean, just like that was Ron Rivera's call, and it was the wrong call. Obviously, Wentz throws 3 picks, and they're awful. But Scott Turner's out there doing the best he can with what he's been given to work with.
Yep.
Like there's only so much you can do.
I think with LaFleur. In the Vikings game, Jets-Vikings, Mike White had Garrett Wilson wide open down the right sideline for what would have been like an 80-yard touchdown that Mike White just overthrew. Mike White doesn't overthrow that ball by half a yard, then Mike LaFleur might have a job today. That's just how this goes. We talk about offensive coordinators being made scapegoats. Not sure that's necessarily the case in New England. There's been reported that the Patriots are expected to make changes to the offensive staff with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. They split play calling duties. I'm all for this. I don't think there's scapegoats here.
Surprise.
I believe in Mac Jones. I'm buying Mac Jones stock. He was so good in his rookie year. Despite not having amazing weapons, yes, had a good offensive line, but I think that they will fix things in New England next year. What say you, Matthew Barry?
I agree with you. It's too well run of an organization. They know this was not ideal, and so Belichick will go back, and they'll find somebody. They'll find a true offense coordinator. I'm with you on Mac Jones. Look, the Commanders need a quarterback. Mac Jones would be the best quarterback on the Commanders right now. Easy, right? Easy. I mean, I'm with you on Mac Jones, and nowhere to go but up for the Patriots. We'll see about the Jets and the Commanders. Again, it's hard until we know who their offensive coordinator is and what kind of system they're going to run. It's hard to sort of project certain. Look, we know Garrett Wilson and Terry McLaurin are going to be stars no matter what. But it's, figuring out what the offensive play calling tendencies are of whoever gets that job will go a long way to us determining the fantasy value of the players on those teams. Anyway.
Lots happening in the AFC.
A lot is happening in the NFL.
Also,
I'm super annoyed.
A lot happening in the AFC.
I've hit it well, but I know I've played it, kind of cool here. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm annoyed with my Commanders.
How do you not have a say in who the next, coordinator? Let's be real.
Come on. Jason Wright, you got my cell phone.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
If I were any of these teams, I'd want Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator. I think Frank Reich, he hasn't shown anything to not suggest that he's a very good offensive play caller. Head coach, but maybe offensive coordinator.
He's interviewing for the Panthers head coaching job, and, he's in the mix there. But, yes, I would agree with you. He's a very good offensive coordinator. I mean, I don't know. The Commanders should make it – anyway, I'm not going to get it.
My man hurt for real.
Yeah, really hurt. Who do you want as your quarterback next year, Matthew, for the Commanders? You want him to go Aaron Rodgers? You want him to trade 4 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson? You want him to get Derek Carr, Jimmy G?
Any of those guys would be fine. Any of those guys.
Mike White?
No, not Mike. Not Mike White.
Mac Jones?
The truth of the matter is that I said this after just before the Bears game, when they were, I want to say they were 1-5 at that point. I said they're not making the playoffs. They should just go to Sam Howell and let him play the entire year and see what they have. When Carson Wentz got hurt, I was just like, play, and then they ended up winning, and then they kept winning under Heineke, so they, and they had a shot at the playoffs. Yeah. But so I get why they didn't go to Sam Howell, but kind of want to see what you get out of Sam Howell. And again, they've been competitive enough that they're not likely going to get a first, be eligible to get a decent quarterback this year, like a young quarterback.
He almost didn't get that start in Week 18 either. Yep. Right? Taylor Heineke was like, hey, man, this dude, he deserved to play, man. Heineke just like, the hell with it. Let this rookie start. Let him see what he do.
Taylor Heineke's a good dude.
And they whooped on Dallas.
They were going to start on Heineke because, again, Rivera didn't realize they'd been eliminated from the playoffs. He's like, we still got a shot. We got to beat Dallas. And then, and then he got the memo.
Before we go to break, also a good dude, Derek Carr said goodbye to the Raiders this morning, saying that he looks forward to a new city and a new team, so no surprises there. You don't bench your franchise quarterback when you're still alive for the playoffs and then expect to bring him back the next season. So we'll see what happens with Derek Carr.
He'll be a starting quarterback somewhere. And you know what? He's fine. He's in the Kirk Cousins range. Yes. I would argue
Daniel Jones.
I would argue you can win with Derek Carr. Is he Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, somebody that can sort of put you, or what Aaron Rodgers used to be? Is he somebody like a Allen or a Mahomes that Burrow that can sort of put you on your back and say I'm going to will this team to win? No, he's not that guy. But he's a guy that if you give him weapons and give him a good offensive system that you can win with, 100%. Derek Carr would be the best quarterback the Commanders have had in 20 years. And no, seriously, since Kirk Cousins. Right? I mean, since RG3's rookie year. Because Kirk Cousins was fine with Washington. He was fine.
That got him paid. Well, he franchised, he's stacking bread.
But that's the state of quarterback. I mean, think about some of the quarterbacks that are going to make a start this week in the playoffs. We're likely going to see Skylar Thompson.
Some of them ain't better than Carr.
We're going to likely see either Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown this weekend. We're going to see Daniel Jones. We're going to see Brock Purdy.
Wow.
If you ranked all the quarterbacks that are playing in the playoffs this weekend, Derek Carr is the fourth best quarterback on that list, fourth or fifth, right? I mean, he's somewhere in that list.
All right, and on that note, we have to go to break. Derek Carr, fourth or fifth best quarterback in AFC World Cup. When we come back, AFC Wildcard game previews.
Maybe he's sixth or whatever, but I'm just saying,
Commanders.
Derek Carr will be a starting quarterback somewhere in the NFL next year. Mark my words. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.